how many players or people out there can we help with a little bit of a session talking about how we can set up properly and do some drills and do things accordingly to help people's backs. So, a lot of golfers have bad backs, and I always say, I start with this. The one thing that, when you think about how your pelvis and your spine are, right? Your pelvis is always, or your belt line, we can use the belt line, is perpendicular to your spine. Now, those who've watched my channel will know if that lead hip drops, the spine goes forward. That crunches the lower left back. And then what happens on the way through? Hip shoots forward, crunches the lower right back. So we always preach having that little hip bump that keeps your spine perpendicular to your pelvis, helps you turn easily behind the golf ball and promotes the ability to cover it on the way through. And when done correctly, properly stretches you out, doesn't cause that crunch look that so many struggle from. So one big thing with Mason that I always make sure of, I make sure he hikes that left hip up a little bit. Now watch when I do that. I'm keeping my hips square, sternum still, hips square, trying to get that left femur more on top of that left leg. Doing that while leaving that sternum alone helps him turn behind the golf ball, a little bit deeper turn. One big problem for a lot of people, and I used to get on you about this all the time, if that right hip moves this way at all, okay, it's like a lock right here. It restricts the turn, and then it ruins the body's ability. It's like your upper body's turning against your lower body, okay? So when we bump that hip forward, it really opens up the ability for that right pocket to move back more, and that left shoulder can move right over. And there's that big coil without putting any strain on the lower back.
I strained my QL on my lower right portion of my back. It's just been a lot of stuff kind of in PT. Obviously, I'm trying to work more now on preventative stuff. I think my natural tendency was always to get my hips back a little bit, and that would kind of crunch like my lower right portion of my back. So for me, it's super important to kind of remember that setup and bumping the hip and getting me into at least just good posture, like to promote good posture. Because with my speed especially, it kind of amplifies how much that affects me. So
absolutely,
yeah, setup is probably the most important for me. You want to take pressure off your lower back, work your core a lot too.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Don't neglect your core.
Don't neglect your core. So these are all big things right here. A drill that really helps with that. I'll kind of angle it towards you guys here. Great drill, the lead leg drill. Okay, now Bo Hostler used to suffer when he was younger from a little bit of lower back pain from lateral movement. When I worked with him for all that time, he won a Haskins Award. He used to warm up with this drill all the time. Left leg forward, used to rotate around his lead leg. Great way to warm up. A lot of our players do that. But bump the hip forward like this and simply just hit some little 3/4 knockdown shots right around that left side, okay? And what's great about that is you take away the ability to have all the movement that would be detrimental to the lower back, right? I'm just simply rotating around that lead side. I'm finishing nice and tall. Everything's stretched out. I didn't feel that hurt me at all. It actually helps me warm up and stretch me. So that's a great one for those suffering with that lower right back pain. Hey, do the left leg drill for me. Let's run our viewers through this. Left leg drill, watch. He points the big toe of his lead foot at the ball. He narrows up his stance. He's just creating more of a post with his lead leg. And this just helps him get off his back leg and rotate around his left side. See a little short swing like that, 3/4 swing. And it's beautiful. That's a dead straight golf shot right there. And what's nice about that technically, not only is that helping him loosen up, taking away lateral movement, but helping you understand how rotation and connection can square up the club face together.
Yeah. It's a good feel for me too, because it helps me keep my hands in front of my hips, which is another big issue for me usually.
Think about what he just said. Brian Stark, one of our students who plays at University of Texas, does the same thing. He drops that foot back, creates the post. Not only does it help him stay centered, but it helps the arms and hands, elbow specifically, get in front of the right side of the body and be more in front of his body throughout the swing. So that's good. So technically all these things we're working on, here, like these are all things that are helping us technically, but they're also helping us physically.
Yeah.
And I've always been a believer of that. Don't let anybody tell you the golf swing hurts your body. No, when done correctly, I believe it can properly stretch you out. I just think that what hurts people's body is not warming up the right way. Not having the right grip, not having the right setup, not having the right mechanics. That's what hurts your body. It's good. So do one more of those. For the average golfer, you're trying to help the golf ball up in the air. You know, a better player understands the loft of the golf club, and hitting down on it will make the ball elevate. But a lot of players simply try to help the golf ball up in the air, and what that does is it gets that lower back in a position to where, you know, you're crunching that spine up against that pelvis right there, boom. And all those lower vertebrae aren't doing anything good as a result of that, right? So being in this position helps you freely rotate, finish a little taller. So with Mason, I like to see him get in there, try to feel the exact same feeling he created in the drill, in the setup. Very important for the people to understand though, you know, the proper grip, the proper setup, these are things that actually, believe it or not, if not done correctly, can hurt your lower back. And, you know, with the back pain being a very common thing in golf, I think it's a little bit of swing only because he swings also 127 miles per hour. But I don't think it's a lot swing. We've been really careful with his golf swing. At Porzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.